Hello and welcome to this week's Gull'S Eye View. I'm joined by Tom.
Evening, lads.
I'm joined by Chris.
Evening all very somber again, isn't it, after another defeat?
We were trying this grid view again, so if it does all go a little bit weird when it zooms on speaker, then you know why. But we're changing it up, something that the football club can't do. To sum up the weekend, Tom was there. He'll go into it in more detail. We watched Coughlin and Maidstone Star in the FA Cup miracle. You know, Lucas Coughlin save, commanding goalkeeping, saving, loads of goals, you know, winning crosses. Do you remember what it was like? And then we saw the shambles that we did at Worthing. And oh my God, we'll go for it more. But those, can I just say now, the 4 goals we conceded from the goalkeeper and the defence point of view, I'm just shocked. Especially actually, I mean, the Halstead, the first 2 goals, don't like digging out individuals, but come on, he doesn't need to be told. But the defence, I am appalled. I'm actually, I watched the highlights today. I've been putting off doing it, but I thought, no, let's watch it. And I cannot believe my eyes that that's a professional football club who can be dismantled and sort of just one boy over the top, or if they run through us. Centre backs very weak. Moxie then obviously got sent off. Don't know if the line was too high or not, but when it wasn't too high, they got through anyway. Like the first goal, so embarrassingly weak. The only good bit of defending I saw was Dan Martin, which was that amazing goal line clearance. But he should never have had to do that in the first place. It was like watching youth football, and that's bad to youth football. I don't know, just amateur. I don't know. I don't understand. Are they playing walking football at the back? I don't understand. And I talked about last week about this whole losing mentality around the football club. Yeah, well, that's what happens when it's off the pitch and it's in the coaching staff, and then that's what happens on the pitch. So absolutely disgraceful. Tom, you can go into that a bit more, and Chris, obviously, about the shapes of it. But you were there, Tom. Tell me a bit more about it.
Yeah. So Worthing, for me, my local game of the season, literally 15 minutes down the road. What you saw, chaps, was a football club with progression in mind, with a plan in mind, with ambition in mind, versus a football club in total decline, dying at the seam, you know, right in front of the fans' faces, and again, and a manager who doesn't care about the fans. And you know, I've been going on about Gary Johnson out for a long time now, but just being near him on Saturday was the final straw for me. His attitude, his demeanor to the fan base, and just the overall performance we put in. I mean, we started okay, in fairness, and we got the early goal, which was a very pleasant surprise. Good link-up play with Ash finding Lapsley in the middle, and I tell you, Lapsley had a good game, I thought. He really showed his energy and what we've been missing in that midfield. But once again, you just knew it. You just knew when we got the first goal, we weren't going to keep a clean sheet. And immediately from kickoff, Worthing completely tore us open and should have equalised straight away. And then we go into the goals that we did concede in that first half. I mean, Halstead, you know, he's had a huge redemption from the last couple of seasons, but he'll know that they weren't good enough saves for him. The first one, I think he should do a lot better. Lets it go under him.
100%.
I think he's got to save that personally. The second one, it's, you know,
bad defending.
first,
Can I point out? Bad defending. How he ever was allowed to have a shot by that point, and they just shot, and he's just not ready, and it's just weak kind of goalkeeping.
And you just saw it over and over again, Sam. I'm afraid it was just, you know, every time Worthing had the ball in our half, they looked like they were going to score. And the second goal, Halstead's just got to palm it out. Instead, I'd have to probably see it back again, but there's just no one reacts quickly enough.
It's come off completely off what's happened. It's come off like it's inside his arm, and it's just spiraled there. And everyone's just stood watching still, but he's hit it with the wrong part of his arm. So
I didn't really understand that, because he looks like, because initially I thought, well, he's got a foot. Obviously, I knew what was going to happen because it wasn't what's it like. But as it happened, it looked like he's got a strong hand to it.
And he's got like pushed on the post.
I think I think it's kind of hit the inside of his wrist, hasn't it? But then it's kind of just, I mean, I think it would have gone in without the other bloke, actually. Would have spun back in, I think.
Yeah,
it spun like up in the air. It's hard to understand, is it hit the post? What's happened? But yeah, it's just it looks like, ironically, a weak wrist in the end, doesn't it? Which is not what you thought initially.
And that word weak, I think you could just spread it across the whole team with that performance. The third goal, again, just carved us open, didn't they? And it's just too easy. And I say it every week. We're just so predictable, and teams are able to work us out. And I just don't get how Gary Johnson can stand there and allow it to happen constantly. And up until that point, the atmosphere was actually pretty good. There was some decent banter with the Worthing fans. Because it was a big game for them. I don't want to sound big-headed here, but over 2,200 for them was a league record for them at this level. And the Worthing fans that I did speak to, they were saying the same thing. You think Torquay United, you think Football League Club. It's one of those, they can't believe that A, we're in the same division, but also B, the fact that they're going in as favourites, and deservedly so. I said it before a ball was kicked that Worthing were going to be a good barometer for us in terms of our promotion aspects this season, and they've turned us over 7-2 on aggregate over the 2 games. And at half time, there was a lot of boos, and Gary Johnson came back out the second half to a lot more boos, and he just looks up, smirks at the fans, shakes his head, singing Johnson out, and he's going, "I'm not going anywhere." And you just, how is he allowed to have that opinion, and 2, how can he think that this is good enough? And why does he think that riling the fan base is the right thing to do? I'll never know. Ego maybe, but get back to that in a little bit. But second half, Worthing didn't really come out all guns blazing as I thought they were going to do. And we had a bit more of the ball, and then Archer with a wonderful strike, to make it 3-2. And obviously, the turning point of the game was that non-penalty shout on Brad Ash, which I keep looking at it time and time again, and it looks worse every time that you look at it. It's a clear penalty. Could change the game.
I have to say, Tommy, I think we've had the rough end of the stick with referees a lot. I think referees come to Torquay knowing what they're doing. I think they know, big club, we're not going to give them anything. And I think that is inexcusable. There are some things like the Marshall one last week at home was a Stonewall penalty. It's a penalty all day long, but I kind of get why not, because people can make a lot of those. But I mean that one on. I mean I can't. Again, if you look at it, the referee is not in the picture. Mm-hmm. That's the issue. The issue is the fact the referee hasn't kept up the play to know it. But I mean, it's not. And if there's 4 officials or two linesmen and a referee that cannot see that, I mean, that I can honestly, you can make excuses for a lot of decisions, can't you? And say, they could have thought this or it could have been that. But I just can't for the life of me. I cannot understand why you wouldn't give that. And it's costly. There's a lot of things going badly for us in a whole number of reasons, but that's costly. That's a penalty. We score it. It's 3-3. We could have won the game.
Yep.
And it changes it, but incredible.
Personally, I do think even if we did score, I think Worthing would have found a way to win.
Yeah, just based on 5 or 6 for instead. But I mean, you're totally right. Yeah. I mean, it is a Stonewall penalty. I don't understand how refs can be that bad every week, for both teams. But you're right, actually. As you say,
and I will say, they didn't give a lot to Worthing either. She let a lot go in that game. So I don't want to use the officials as an excuse for.
Oh no, absolutely not. But equally, you can't use these officials as an excuse, like Gary Johnson likes to do quite a lot. But equally, we're all accountable for things in life, aren't we? And geez, I mean.
But the sad reality is you've got to go into games knowing that the officials aren't gonna.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, too right.
You've got to let I said it at my talking points. You've got to let your footballing ability win the day. And the red card. I think Moxie's been hard done by a little bit, because obviously with that non-penalty shout, he's been booked for dissent, and I'd be fuming. I think we were all fuming in that away end anyway. But the second one, I think the Worthing players maybe made a bit more of the challenge than that was there. But again, that's just part of it. It's another red card. And then a couple of minutes later, Cashman, who got a bit of a stick from the Torquay fans for whatever reason, of course, shut us all up with the winning goal. But again, there's just so much. He's allowed so much time and space to have a go. I know we're down to 10 men, but even so, it's just. And you could say that for most of the goals.
And I'm sorry. I know both keepers got injured in the end, but love it. Just doesn't look prepared.
Just to go back to those red cards, if I can, just for a second, before we move on with that. I just think if you look at these, we've had 3 red cards in the last 6 games, and you look at all 3 of those, all for 2 yellow cards, and they're barely a yellow card between them. I mean, McGavin's was the first one, he ripped somebody up, fair dues. Second one, absolute nonsense, because he walloped the ball 2 seconds before the referee blew the whistle. Absolute nonsense. You look at Jenkins Davis. Second one was silly, because he dived in when he'd already been booked. But the first one, really, in the first 10 minutes of a game, and moxies again. Yes, players have to behave. Yes, they can't shoot their mouth and all the rest of it. But I can tell you now, I'd have got booked if I'd have been on that pitch after the penalty. And again, the second one, is that really a yellow card? Is that not? Hey, you want to book in? One more of those and you're off. Pack it in.
It's just game management. Referees don't have that sense. So.
But like a lot of us, she couldn't wait because she couldn't wait to get to her pocket. Couldn't wait to start send him off.
They get too emotional in these games. They don't think. They don't like, take a minute, think, right, that's a foul. Let's take the context. Let's think of the context. Not get over emotional. All these refs like, no, I've got to. It's all about me. And I just can't.
I think as well. What's interesting, I don't know if you've seen it, the mic'd up program that they're doing with the Premier League about listening to the VAR footage back and then explaining with Howard Webb. And what struck me listening to that, when you listen to the footage on top of what's actually happening, it's just how quickly it all happens. In a game where in a split second, and when you listen to it and you hear it all, and you hear the opinions of the lineman, the referee, VAR 1, VAR 2, and you listen to it, and you think,
it's information overload.
It does all happen so quickly, though, doesn't it?
Well.
But it makes, but they've got to make the right decisions, and everyone makes mistakes, but they're all going against us at the minute. I know that.
And ultimately, it's another game that we've lost, and against a team up there, who personally now, having seen them, twice, I think Worthing will win the playoffs this season. There's just something about them that they play such wonder. Even between them or Maidstone, I think will be the two.
It's not going to be us, is it? Right now, bloody hell. After watching that and then watching Maidstone in the FA Cup, you haven't got a hope. And look, Maidstone, can I point out? I know we're mid-flow here. Maidstone, a manager who's come in, he respects the fans working there and always had the best results this season at all. But look at the difference. That's what One Club, as I tweeted, that's what One Club United looks like.
Yeah, I've kept saying that Hinchelwood is a class manager, I think, and he's just got Worthing playing in such a wonderful style. And you can just tell the whole club, there was just this buzz of, there's definitely, they've got something there. They're only looking one way, which is up. They've got a great team unity, great relationship between the owners to the manager to the, the supporters, and they fully deserve to beat us and to beat us at home as well. Like, it's just a sad reflection on us because
this club is now 10, 20 years behind in the way its football plays, the way it thinks off the pitch. Just because we were a wee club for 90 years does not mean we can earn ourselves back promotion now. Worthing, as you've mentioned, Tommy, and many teams in this division and in divisions below will overtake this football club. It's an absolute failure. They've got loser blame culture mentality, as we mentioned last week, and many times this season. I am now just fed up. I don't even want to see it. I struggle talking about it, to be honest. I don't even want to see it anymore. I don't want to watch any of the games of football with Gary Johnson in charge with the same pathetic excuses of tactician out there. I don't even want to go into a ground where, apart from a few people, there's just nothing there. I mean, look at this statement. Look at this statement. It is absolutely a joke. So Maidstone have done that. All these teams are doing this. We've had a club announcement. We've had a conversation about a stadium, probably over like a Tesco meal deal. This is happening. So we've waited 6-7 years for a statement like that. We all know where this is going to go. Because as soon as like everything else, look at his interview, look at their Q&A, which Johnson shouldn't have been at anyway, which sums up our points already. It will be someone else's fault. It will be the council's fault. I'm saying right now, a year or two, you're going to get a Sue Stadium. Fault. It's a fan's fault. No, it's the council's fault. They're getting ready to blame it.
If you look at the council statement, though, Sam, it doesn't say anything like what our statement says at all. The council statement just says we've had a conversation, but basically they're in the same position. They're no further forward. Yeah. They've got no equity, no way of proving the equity to build a stadium without the purchase of Playmore, which isn't going to happen. Then it says that. Just two couple of things I think you just said there. I was talking to somebody at work this morning who's a Torquay fan who was there on Saturday. We were saying the concern I have now, as much as anything in terms of on the field, is I still think we'll get in the playoffs because I think we'll prove that we are good enough in enough games at home. But I think the concern I would have is that now I don't see a situation now because finishing second and third is key in this division, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think I don't see a situation whereby we can do that.
No.
And I think even if we get into the playoffs and we finish 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever, with the way our away record has been throughout the duration of the season, can you see as a situation where we go and win 2 and 3 away games against top sides to win the league? Win promotion,
We have to go to
I can't see it.
We'd have to
I
do
never
a,
thought
go
at
to
any stage we'd
Chelmsford,
get a
go
result
to a
on
Hampton,
Saturday.
go to Worthing and get wins there. You
Yeah.
just can't see it. We've got the
But if you look at
7th.
it,
We've fallen down now to 17th in the best away form this season. 17th.
and the problem is as well, Tom, if you look at it, played away at Chelmsford, lost. Away at Hampton, lost. Played away at Worthing, lost. This is the problem.
Well, we didn't
Because,
just
yeah,
lose
we might
these
go win at
games.
Taunton or Truro
We
or
got
wherever.
battered.
But
Yeah.
these are think how many
in
goals
these
we're
games.
conceding in these games as well.
Yeah, and like
This is the problem.
It's the preparation, the way the teams obviously turn up for these away games, everything. It's losing, it's just pathetic, it's unequipped, it's ill prepared. I'm done. I'll be brutally honest with you. I am totally done. And just like the way this, yeah, as you say, all that statement from the club really proved to me exactly. I would love to be proven wrong. Don't get me wrong. I mean, do I want a stadium?
But this is the problem now is, you know, we beat Dover last Saturday. Gary Johnson comes out and says, just beat Dover. And he targets again the fan base to say, what, you'll be better off supporting me than being against me, really, in those terms. And since then, we've drawn away at Chippenham, lost to Worthing on the road. It's not good enough. 4 points from 9.
I was thinking the other day, I can't remember.
It's in Dover, 1 win in 6, and it's against bottom of the league, and we were not good. And it was a McGavin wonder strike that won that game, and that was it.
And I've got more to say on Johnson, but I'll let Chris start first.
No, I was just going to say I was thinking about this. I cannot remember a situation. We've all been in situations that I cannot remember a situation where it's been quite like this, because around the time when towards the end of the West Saunders tenure, Alan Neil's tenure when he got sacked after the Plymouth game, that was pretty bad. And when you're losing, fans are going to get on the manager's back. But this whole situation is extraordinary, really, because you've got a club who the owners are the owners, they're doing what they're doing, they've spent all the money they've spent, whatever. They clearly have this agenda for the stadium, but on the pitch, in the stadium on match days, what you see on Saturday around the Johnson out, the way he's behaving, the way he's reacting, the response it gets from fans, the way it's riling people up more. The whole thing is just incredible when you think about it. And I, as I said before, I'm absolutely not saying that football clubs should sack managers because fans say so, because that's not how football works. It's not how business works. That's not what I'm saying. But equally, at what point are these people going to look at this and think, oh, bloody hell, if we don't A, do something about this on the pitch, most importantly, but B, we don't turn the tide a bit on the terraces within the stadium. As I've said, this whole thing can refresh like that. With one decision, this entire fan base, this entire structure, you get a new manager in, you get a bit of positivity, you get a couple of wins, it would change the whole thing, and the ownership would go into the background a bit more, and there'd be optimism and hope and all the rest of it. I can't see who him still being the manager is benefiting, because I don't see it's benefiting anybody. It can't be benefiting him. Because imagine being him right now. Imagine living his life right now. Imagine being his wife. Imagine how he must be. Imagine being the owners who are getting pelters from all angles about the fact you still haven't sacked him. The fans are not enjoying it. The players can't be enjoying it because they're not winning games of football. The manager's getting battered. I just don't see who's benefiting. I just don't.
I don't know. It's all crazy. And at the end of the day, the point is, for me, from my point of view, right now, as someone who's talking like it's been my main escape and passion since I was a kid, I do not want to go and see this club anymore. No. I do not want to see this club treated like this anymore. I don't know what this football club is anymore. I don't know who the manager of it, the coaching staff, I mean, a lot of the players. I don't really blame them, to be honest. I think I've been set for failure, a lot of it.
But it's
of course, it's poor performance on the pitch. But But the owners and how the owners and the local press, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. This is not my community anymore. It's not my football club anymore. And it's very sad, and I don't really want to see it like this. It's just for me, it's just like it's almost like it's an unhealthy relationship now. Really, you go there, it's a toxic environment. You're not appreciated. It's really damaging. It's so hard to keep going, and I don't want to support this regime anymore. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
I genuinely feel that the relationship now is fractured beyond repair. Again, just being there near him on Saturday, unfortunately, there was a little bit of a flare up between supporters again. But
it's the owner's job to do something about this. When you own a football club, when you run a business, when you own a business, it is your job to do something about this. Football is unique, of course it is, because it's about results. It's not about making fans happy, but it is. because people turn up to support the team to see them win, don't they? But they turn up to support the team. But none of that is happening. None of all the fractures, fan base, all of none of it is happening. And at what point does somebody think, actually, we probably need to do something about this? I genuinely don't, because we were talking about this last New Year after Yeovil, which is what, 13 months ago. We were saying that he's past the point of no return, but yeah, here we still are. It's extraordinary. It really is.
But just watching his whole demeanour pitch side, especially when he came back, you know, it's not nice getting hounded and, you know, booed at and a little bit of abuse here as well, you know, and I get that. But at the end of the day, I keep saying it's that one word for me, accountability. He just shoulders no accountability at all. There's no, he doesn't care. I genuinely believe that. And, you know, if you believe the rumours, he does one training session a week. He does a lot of stuff online. Downs is running the show. You know, he just stands there, and you know, it must be easy for Gary Johnson. He's getting paid a wage.
And Downs probably can't. Downs, if that is the case, for example, Downs probably can't do the coaching he probably would want to do anyway. So even set up for failure.
I don't know, but I can't believe for the life of me that's true. I cannot believe for the life of me that's true.
I don't think he's at every training session, Gary Johnson. I don't think he attends a couple. I think he only does 1 or 2 a week, judging on what I've heard. But again, that could all be rumours, and you know.
Yeah, you just don't know. But
but there's clearly something not right. And again, I've never, hate is such a strong word, but I've just fallen out of love with Torquay United Football Club.
Yeah,
you know,
George Edwards and all of you, like, you have ruined this football club. I don't know what you're setting out to achieve. A lot of people
as I shouted to Gary Johnson,
ruined this football club, and Gary Johnson, you're now part of the problem.
Yeah, as I said to Gary Johnson at some point during the second half, when he was giving it a bit to the fans, it's not Gary Johnson Football Club, it's Torquay United Football Club, mate.
Yeah, but he cares as much as us, remember?
Rubbish.
And again, but what I did, as much as anything, I'd like to know this is true, but that statement he made after the Dover game, where basically you ain't getting rid of me, it's my club as much as yours, is somebody saying to him, "Geez, really? What are you doing?
No,
Shut your mouth."
It's all happy, shiny.
I don't think they are. I don't think they do.
Of course not. They're so deluded.
I don't think they are.
It's like that discussion
I was listening to that thinking, "Shut your mouth, man." It's not even. I don't even own the club, you know.
But the media don't say this is the problem. Like, the media won't back him or won't back the fans' perspective, because again, they don't want to lose that access to Gary Johnson.
Sure,
and it's us versus them. That's how I view it now. And you know, George Edwards, you've taken my football club down the toilet. You've taken my love away from the club. You know, it's just, I don't want to go to games anymore. And we'll come on to possibly what to do from the fans' perspective from here. But I just don't want to go to games. I was thinking about going down on Saturday, 350-mile round trip. Forget it. I'm not going to entertain that idea. Same with Maidstone.
We've got to save money. It's a cost of living crisis now. You know, it always has, but you know, fans put hard-earned money that, and this is how we're treated. I can't do it anymore.
But again, my concern with this personally, and again, I don't have any insight into this review, but it's just how it feels to me. I don't know that any of the stuff that's being talked about would make a difference. Part of me says the only way that this will change is if people stop going. If people stop spending their money, if people stop, there'll come a point where they go, "Crikey, we've got to do something. We've got to."
Because we're still getting good attendances by our
standards.
I don't know
that one. But I don't know is that going to make a difference? You get the impression that stubbornness is the main streak of everyone involved in this. I don't know that would make a difference. I genuinely don't.
I don't think it'll make a difference at home. And I think if you are looking at voicing your opinion, it is going to be more away from home, and those who go away from home than it will be at home, just because of how the whole club is run.
But that doesn't hurt the club, though, does it? The club that doesn't hurt the finances, does it? If you don't go to away games.
I just think that there's too much directive to quiet the fans, and to, you know, you can't say anything negative. You can't. It just feels like I don't have a voice to play.
It is literally like some dictatorship in this football club. Like these happy, shiny people. Yeah, everything's great. Everything's great. Honestly, I've said this many times on here, but you know, you can't say anything. You can't do anything bad. You can't even have a banner. You can't say anything bad against Gary Johnson. You can't, you know, It's literally, it's so uncomfortable. I can't do it anymore. I can't. Our football club's been ruined. It's been destroyed. I was going to call this video shambles, weak, all that about the team, but I'm just going to call our football club's been destroyed because it's dead. There's no point even entertaining the idea anymore. Why should we? What is there now to look forward to in this football club? Every team,
Another year in the south.
But you either give, but it's one of those situations where you give up or you do something about it, isn't it? You can do one or two things.
What can I do realistically as an individual? We do this.
You can't, but you can be. This
I
is
don't have 7 million to get the club out.
No, exactly.
We'll keep doing this, I guess, the videos, but I'm really at a place now where I can't. It's just like as I say, it's like a toxic relationship. I just feel just makes me feel unwell in a way. Just thinking like in my mind, just thinking about like having to face up and go to watch this football club anymore, because it's like it's not Torquay United community anymore. You've destroyed it, George Edwards and all. I hope you're really happy with yourself, and Gary Johnson and Clark Osborne and everyone responsible for this on and off the pitch. It is done. There's no point showcasing this up anymore and saying, oh well, we could be back again. Right, we get promoted. We won't at this stage. What we're going to achieve next, where's these hopes and dreams? That statement was like the nail. That was like the death. Like as you said, if from the reality of what they were saying compared to the what Kevin Foster and what the council said, no. Basically, what our statement said, we had a Tesco meal deal sandwich, and then we spoke about something, and nothing happens. Because what's going to happen? It's going to be happy, all stuff like this. We're going to get a new stadium. The council stopped us getting it. No, well, we wanted to do this. Just like every list of excuses he gave on that fans forum. It's going to be the same path for us. Please prove me wrong, of course. But yeah.
Of course, we all want this club to be successful. We want this club to be back in the National League. We want this club to be back in the Football League. But you just look around the whole place. You look at the ground. It needs so much renovation on the outside. It just looks like it's falling to pieces, sadly.
Yeah.
And the whole match day experience as well. It's just so the prices we have to pay to get into the ground, prices for food in the ground.
That's another big thing. The
prices, halftime entertainment. But it's just, I just feel like the spirit of what Torquay United used to be, relatively small football league club, fighting against the odds, having the occasional good moments where we were good enough for promotion. I mean, 20 years ago, we were getting promoted into League One. And 20 years down the line, we're in the National League South. We're just in the playoffs. But if anyone thinks that scraping into being in the playoff spot at this stage is good enough, then considering we were the pre-season favourites and we're nearly 20 points off Yeovil now at the top, who have brought another striker in, funnily enough, from Bristol City. I mean, where's the recruitment gone? Pete Johnson was on the bloody bench on Saturday.
And where's this great budget that Gary Johnson's been given to get all these players?
What is he doing on the bench?
We've got for most of the last month.
We've got Halstead injured, Marshall injured on Saturday. Why is he not out scouting, doing his job? He's picking up a wage, doing nothing. He's got the
selection for this weekend. Frightening, though, isn't it? When you think about it, because we've got Jenkins Davis is banned, Moxie's banned, potentially Halstead's out. So where's the defence come from?
Well.
There's got to be.
Where's the defence? Who's going to play? There's only Callum Thomas left.
Crazy, but there you go. That's what you get for sticking with Gary Johnson, who burns every bridge with other clubs. We said it pre-season. We thought we were playing, these under 21, under 23 sides to get a bit of knowledge about certain young players. So if we did need them to come in, we'd be able to have that relationship and get them to come for a month or two. But no, just seems to have all been chucked out the window. Now
and one final point. If you go back to the fans forum, that one question where the mask dropped on Clark Osborne, where he said about an internal review, basically someone who can help with the football side, and because it's like any like business, you have someone who's looking in just in case of and to help with the football side or whatever. And just the mask dropped. It completely went. No, I find that very, what is his words, insulting. Yeah, well, there you go then. That's where the football club is now.
Us as fans, it's crazy.
Yeah, but it's all our fault, of course. It's the fans' fault. It's Torquay Talk's fault. It's everyone's fault.
Should we move into Kelly's corner?
Yeah, go on then, and then we'll tie up,
and then we
Doesn't
can.
Sound a happy place to be tonight.
No, and I tweeted something after full time at Worthing about boycotting, which is something I don't normally would advocate, but just feel like, again, we just don't have a voice anymore. And I just feel nothing's going to change at this football club unless the fans take action, because you can't trust the media, you certainly can't trust the manager, and you certainly cannot trust the owners and the board of directors at this football club. Again, talk is cheap, guys. Talk is cheap. You can talk all you want about being, we're going to do this for the club. Gary Johnson's the right man to take us to the Football League. Get over yourself. He's past it, and he's proven time and time again he doesn't give a crap about the supporters. And yet we still turn up in big numbers to support the club. So we're asking whether talks of a boycott or a walkout should be seriously considered in the near future. This garnered quite a lot of interest on social media, and thank you to everyone who did write in. We did post something up a little bit earlier, so I'll just go into the ones from the post that we had earlier today. So George says, we just need a group to take control and plan a protest, etc., and then the fans follow. But he's not sure what the answer is. There has to be an answer. Southend and Yeovil survived after years of fight. Hopefully we get the same outcome for ourselves. Pete Wells says, if Gary decides to step down from management at the end of the season, can you see him in a consultancy role or joining the board of directors as a real possibility? Certainly hope not. Rachel says, local media will scoff and mock the idea, but the wider journo jurisdiction would likely pick up on, and supporters' feelings would then be heard. It will need commitment for the boycott, though, in large numbers. Off the Line blog says, it's beyond the point of caring at this rate. B, if patronising rhetoric from Mr. Edwards or pure arrogance from Mr. Johnson, the current management on and off the field are doing a good job of sapping every bit of energy and love that I have for the football club. Clive says he would prefer a protest. And we've got Scott, who says he hates to be pessimistic, but he honestly doesn't think a boycott will accomplish anything. It seems that the owners are too stubborn to give it any amount of fan pressure, even if it hurts them financially. So that's everyone on Twitter there. And I'll quickly just load up the ones that we got on Facebook, a couple as well. Steve George says he's seen something about a walkout on Saturday, but would they let the fans do that? Jason Lloyd says too many all talk, #Johnson out. And Harry Locke says that he thinks it's going to have to get to a point where action is taken to prevent games from continuing. So that's all that we've got on social media. And there's plenty of debate on our Twitter and Facebook as well. So, yeah, the problem is with Playmore, I just don't see that they'll allow the fans to have a protest of any kind. I think they'll sap it up quite quickly. You can't even bring banners in.
I'm sorry to say it, but as soon as you put flares allowed on anything, it's my advice. It's not me having to go, because I'm just saying that just gives the club an excuse. Do it.
Yeah.
Protest within the reasons is what I'm saying. It's not me being boring and me being whatever an anti a protest. I'm just saying do all the things within the reason, and so you just don't give them a reason to ban you as individuals.
But if you do illegal stuff, then that you're going to deserve to get banned, aren't you? So if you do it peacefully, then you can still make a point without doing stuff like chucking flares and stuff on. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if anything would make a difference, to be honest. It feels like people have got to do something to kind of make it known. But do you think that they'd have a protest and they'd realise, and therefore then think, well, okay, maybe we should do something? I think they're so stubborn. I don't know they would.
No.
Again, like I say, I just feel like I've fallen out of love with this football club, and I just don't want to go to games anymore with Gary Johnson in charge.
But see a local community like Buckland or something like that, honestly, just feel for it again. Find out what football was really about, what made me got into football in the first place. Really.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what the answer is.
So are we going to win on Saturday? That's the question.
I don't even know we're playing St Albans.
St Albans, who have won 4 in the last 5.
We'll lose 1-0.
Massive game, though, isn't it? Really.
We'll lose 1-0. Own goal from the fans. Went off the fans in an 83rd minute. We lost 1-0. That's my prediction.
The problem is at the moment, and you just can't, looking from a football sense, you just can't look ahead to games and think, yeah, we're going to win that. Because I thought that against Dover, I thought that against Eastbourne. We got 4 points out of 9 against Truro, Eastbourne and Dover at home. And their games where you think, really?
Yeah.
The other thing which is frustrating, we've talked about when players are back. Realistically, we're now only missing Jarvis and Stobbs, aren't we, really, from the squad at the start of the season? Dawson, you can pretty much forget. because even when he comes back, he's not going to be anywhere close to a level for probably for the rest of the season, is he? But I mean, Jarvis is a huge miss. And getting him back fit and back in amongst the group would be key. But other than that, everyone's back now. Ace is back, Brad Ash is back, Lapsley's back. So a lot of the players we've been missing are back. But you do, without reinforcements this week, you do think, how on earth are we going to pick a team that's worthy of the mention on Saturday? Because I just don't know how. We've literally got if Marshall's out injured as well. Where's Ryan Hansen? Vanished. Where's he gone for last month? Disappeared. So who's
no communication.
Nope.
Because that's the reason. Because it's worked so well, not saying where injured players are. That's why we're winning all these games, of course.
Yeah. All that.
Yeah, because that 1 win in 6, that would have been no wins in 6 if we said Ryan Hansen was injured and how long he was out for. Yeah. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think unless you've got anything else to add, that's me done in general and for this episode.
I don't think we'll win, but I just can't. Well, we can't lose at home to St Albans, surely.
Yeah.
1-1.
But again, how many times have we not? It's not been quite as bad as this, but whenever Johnson's needed a result, he's always like, against Derby in the cup and all of that, we've always found a way. I think we'll win the game 2-1, just because we always seem to find a way in these games. Not because I think we'll play well, not because I think we'll dominate, not because we'll play as well as we should do probably, but quite often we find a way, don't we? So I think we'll win 2-1, but it probably won't be pretty.
Hope you're right. Problem is, even with Jarvis, Ash, Hall, all those players fit, we were still squeezing out results at home, and we've still been losing games away from home. So
don't forget Dwayne, he might be back.
Great.
Sorry, that was an attempt to cheer you up? Did that work?
I honestly hope we do win on Saturday, but again, just cannot see it. I just cannot see it at the moment, and I don't think we're going to get promoted either way. Whatever happens to us this season after watching Worthing turn us over, so oh well.
Wow.
Well, hopefully we'll all be happy next week. We'll have 6 points from St Albans and Maidstone, and we'll all be happy.
Yeah.
Get out the ballroom.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably gone off Chris's face right now after because we're doing this thing. It was worth looking. Yeah, that's what
this will be up there with his Derby prediction, won't it?
Yeah. You see, you heard it here first. Get down to Playmore, we'll win 2-1.
Also, I'm just saying, this is really digging things up. I know we did amazingly at home to Derby, but remember when we went there and lost 5-0, and we just made a bit of a laughing stock about ourselves. Not as fans, obviously, on the pitch a bit, like the soft goals we conceded. I know Maidstone had their luck in their day, but look, that's the difference between tactical and just everything about it. I think it kind of sums it up, really, doesn't it? Anyway, so thank you.
It is worth noting whilst Mason's done brilliantly. If you look at the stats of that game, the shots were 36-2.
Yeah, well,
Ipswich had a hell of a bad day there. They had a hell of an off day when it came to
finishing,
definitely.
You've got
good
to have
luck
that
to him. Fair play. Good luck to him. We all just look at that jealously, wishing it was us, don't we?
A lot of those shots did come from there wasn't loads and loads of chances in those key positions. That's the thing. If you set your team up properly and annihilate the post and things got deflected, of course, and Coughlin was cobbling. But so there you go.
Did you know he scored in a playoff final?
Yeah, did he? Yeah.
Did they mention it on commentary?
Yeah, no. Did I have to see the video again? Did I watch it 4 times? Back to back, yes.
Thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for that, TNT Sports. That's just what we all needed. Terrific.
Yeah. Remember our football club once was. Anyway.
We'd be in League One by now. Things are different.
Yeah.
And Johnson would have a statue outside the ground.
Yeah. It's so true though, isn't it? And Cole Cameron.
Do you know the frustration as well is? Had we gone up that day, we probably would have been in League One by now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those players would have stayed, and quite a lot of teams go through League Two, don't they? Relatively quickly.
And Johnson would have been on the up and all that. And it's so hard to
saying,
what guy? It's so hard to rebuild off after a playoff final.
Oh God! Anyway, don't go back to that. We're miserable enough as it is.
Yeah. But okay. So thank you for this. Thank you for the funeral of Talking United this week. Interesting.
Same time next week.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. All right, thank you for joining me, you two. Hopefully Dom's back. He's been a little bit ill recently. Bad flu. Get well soon, Dom.
Yeah.
He'll be back, fighting fit.
All your fault, Dom.
He's back in first team training now. He's back in first team training now, so he'll be back for the match day next week.
He'll be buzzing to be back next week. That's when he.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Just me and turning up on his own.
Yeah, wait, listen to those miserable sods.
All right, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay! Chris Hargreaves, the captain! If he stays on side, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells!